This one is called The Elephant and the Mouse. And this time I will begin with 3 truthful facts. It has been scientifically proven that elephants are afraid of mice. It has also been proven that elephants befriend small animals other than mice. And if one of them is in trouble or something, they'll go and help them. In the 1950s, an animal rescue in Africa had to send several of their animals to a zoo in the United States by airplane. And they were preparing special cages for them so that they would remain calm and contented during the flight. One of the animals being sent on the plane was a baby elephant. Now, elephants are herding animals. They like to be in groups. They don't like to be alone. When an elephant is alone, it becomes irritable and upset. And I don't think you want an irritable, upset elephant on an airplane. So the zoo prepared the elephant's cage and put in a chicken. And they made it a white chicken because elephants have very poor eyesight, and they wanted to be sure that the elephant saw the chicken in the cage with him. And sure enough, that elephant befriended the chicken and was very contented to be there quietly with it for the entire flight, no problem. Now, with all that in mind, I have my liar and liars and trickster tale. It seems that Ethan was the biggest and most powerful elephant in the entire jungle, and he liked everyone to notice it. So one day he went around and he took his trunk and he pulled out a tree by the roots and he tossed it into the air, and then another and another, and with each toss he would do with his trunk to let people notice what he was doing, or creatures, animals, know what he was doing. Now Max was a little mouse, and he lived in the base of one of those trees. And he didn't like what Ethan was doing, pulling the trees out like that. So he walked over to Ethan and he looked up and he said, "Ethan, why are you making such a fuss like this?" And Ethan looked around to see who was talking to him. And he saw this little mouse. And he said, "Because I want to." Well, Ethan looked up and he said, "Well, I don't like it. and I challenge you to a duel. Well, Ethan thought that was an interesting idea, but Max knew that the coming Tuesday was going to be a new moon, and the entire jungle would be in total darkness. So he said, "Come to my house Tuesday night at midnight and knock on the door. Say, 'I came to give you what you want.' And when the door opens, you take your trunk and bonk me as hard as you can. And then come back on Wednesday night at midnight and knock on the door again. This time say, 'I came to get what you can give to me.' And I will come and wonk you as hard as I can. And we'll see who can wonk the hardest." Well, Tuesday afternoon, Max went to call on Chiquita the chicken because there had been a very poor harvest of corn that year, and Max scrounged together as much as he could get and stuffed his house full of corn, so he had most of it. And he invited Cheetah to come for a late night dinner of sweet corn at 10:30 Tuesday night. So 10:30, Chiquita came to Max's house, and the two of them feasted on delicious sweet corn. And Chiquita had brought a banana cake for dessert. When they were cleaning up after dinner, Max said, "You know, Chiquita, I'm expecting another delivery of sweet corn at midnight. If you would go to the door and get it for me, bring it in, I will share it with you, and you can take it home to your family." "Oh, I'd be happy to go to the door and get your corn." At 12 o'clock midnight, Ethan knocked on the door. "I came to give you what you want." "Just a moment," said Max, and Chiquita went to the door. Total darkness, couldn't see who was what or where. When the door opened, Ethan took his trunk and what? Poor Chiquita flew over the entire jungle 2 miles past. The next night, Ethan returned. He really didn't expect that Max could be back that quickly, but he knocked on the door and he said, "I came to get what you can give me." Well, it was still dark, and Max came to the door with a big, heavy hammer and opened the door, and there was Ethan. Wonk! Max wonked his big toe, and poor Ethan hobbled off as best he could. And that is why, to this day, elephants are afraid of mice.